Jon Mack is an actress, producer, musician, and even a philanthropist. Most notable for her roles in horror films like Saw 6, Lavalantula, and the Amityville Murders. Jon Mack has walked the red carpet for years in support of the genre we love most. Now, she sits down to talk horror with your host. What's up, horror fam? Steven, aka Bojangles here, and come closer, my friends. I have something scary to tell you. This is my interview with lovely actress Jon Mack. And forget the tea, because we're going to spill the guts on this one. So sit back and enjoy, horror fam. And there you have it, horror fam. I'm here with Jon Mack. And Jon, I would really like to thank you for sitting down and talking some horror with us today.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
Heck yeah. So I see that you grew up on like this massive farm in Michigan.
Yes.
How did you transition into acting?
Well, actually, I grew up with a mother who was a theater director. So from the time I was probably 5 years old, I was doing plays, and it kind of grew up in the theater. And my father, back in the day, owned a video store, kind of like Vidiot's used to be in LA, like a really eclectic, had a lot of cool foreign and odd cult movies. So I fell in love with film from the time I was a little kid, watching all kinds of films from all decades. And so I was pretty much hooked from the start. Yeah.
Wow. So like you were born into this and they just really fostered that creative spirit inside of you, right?
Definitely. Especially my mom. She always kind of wanted to be an actress and didn't end up doing it for a career. Just ended up teaching. But I think she always really encouraged me and supported me, which was great.
Wow. So when you were like, look, I'm out of here, I'm leaving the farm, I'm chasing these dreams to the big screen, they were all for it.
Yes, definitely. No, I couldn't have been more blessed with a better support system than my family. So that was a great thing.
Yeah, that is incredible. So I do have to ask you though, because I've read studies recently that's like out of all the actors in the world, only 10% of those are able to find work and only 2% are able to make a living from their career. So I was just wondering, how hard is it to manage the life of an actor?
Oh, it's definitely challenging at times. I mean, it's not an easy path. I think those of us who pursue it and stick with it, I think we might have a little screw loose, but at the same time, we have a lot of passion, and I think we love it more than anything because. To me, working with great talented people and creating art and telling stories and getting gory is like, I love nothing more. So it's like, no matter how hard it is, I can't imagine doing anything else.
Wow, I can tell you're definitely passionate about it. So you wouldn't have chosen nothing else. Like if money was no object, like you'd have still went the acting route.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, now it's kind of cool because I'm getting into producing and working behind the scenes too, and which is, that's a whole other world, even though they're connected. But yeah, no, I love making films. I love telling stories. I love entertaining people, giving people an escape, and I just, to me, it speaks to my soul personally, and it's very fulfilling. So I don't think there's anything else I would have chosen, honestly.
Wow. Well, do you have like a favorite genre that you prefer to work in?
Well, I think I got to say I do. I mean, I love so many genres, but I love horror because that was the first genre I ever really worked in, and the fans are amazing, and horror is like no limits. I mean, you can do anything with horror, which is why I love it so much. There's so many different kinds of horror, and it's just, yeah, it's the sky's the limit with horror, and you could do it on a small budget, you can do it on a big budget. It's just it's about the story and just affecting people and scaring people and getting people into it and the fanfare. So I think I'll always go back to horror as like, it's sentimental to me because I got my start with it, and there's so many great people in the horror community for sure.
Yeah, I think it's amazing how creative you can get within the genre and
Yes.
how much that will pay off. I mean, we've seen it with movies like The Blair Witch Project, independent, huge success, took the world by storm. And a recent example would be the entire franchise of Paranormal Activity. That dude made that, I believe, on like 16 grand.
Incredible. Yeah, absolutely. It's all about the concept. That's the beauty of horror. You don't need the big stars necessarily. You don't need the expensive set. You need a great idea and you need the ability to scare people and make it unexpected. You know, don't make it predictable. So that's why I love horror, because it keeps you guessing always.
Right. I mean, and we love to see, some of those stars show up in our favorite horror films and stuff like that. But look at how many the horror genre has created in and of itself. I mean, it used to be like back in the day with some of your action flicks, for example. I mean, Schwarzenegger is your big guy, Sylvester Stallone, but they were already made men. I mean, Sly with Rocky, Schwarzenegger with Terminator or Conan, excuse me.
Yes.
And then they just rode that forever. But horror has really just launched some careers into the stratosphere.
Absolutely. It's amazing when you go back and you see how many people started with horror. I mean, it's just some of the major people in, for instance, like Paul Rudd, like from, Ant-Man, but he started, he did a Halloween, I think 4 or 5, I believe. And
6.
Yeah. 6. There you go. Yeah, no, it's amazing how many people you see when you look back. Oh my God, they were in this movie, So that's what I love about it, because it's started so many careers, and it's challenging, but the fans are just so great. That's the main thing I love about it too, is horror has the most dedicated fans, and I think that's incredible.
Absolutely. I was talking with someone on this topic via email earlier in the week, and we were talking about memorable performances in otherwise terrible movies.
Yes.
Matthew McConaughey came up for me in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 4. I was like,
Yeah.
it was immediately recognizable that this dude was on a whole other planet than
Yes.
anyone else. Like,
yeah, absolutely. I think Renee Zellweger was in that one too.
yeah, she was.
2 Oscar winners, like you never would have guessed.
Right. I think just, they gave her, of course, the typical shy, sort of quiet girl, unsure of herself. Matthew came out, man, he was just unhinged. That role was just meant for him. Like,
Absolutely. Absolutely. And he shined in it. Oh man, he's so memorable. He's the best thing about that film. I mean, yeah, for sure. I agree.
yeah.
I agree.
So, speaking of which, do you have like a favorite type of character that you like to play?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the crazier the better for me. Like, I like to be challenged, and I mean, everybody, says this, but I do. I love to play unhinged characters, because you can go there. It's kind of therapeutic in a way. In real life, you can't do these things, without getting in some serious trouble. But it's to me, I love playing. I love playing something that's different than me. I'm a pretty laid back person usually, but I love playing unhinged characters, and just people that aren't right in the head, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, so you're pretty laid back. So, like, when it comes to playing just that unhinged character, how do you prepare for a role like that?
I think it's like, it depends on the character. I mean, I like to do a lot of research into it, and just studying different things. But yeah, just the motivation of the character, and then once you get all that in place, and you know what the story is, you can kind of let it all out. You just let your inner creativity out, and let those emotions out, and some magical thing happens. And I can't even explain the process. I mean, to me, acting is really kind of it's a craft, but it's also a magical process too. To really, there's no words that can explain. You kind of just have to let it out. You can't care how you look. You got to just go for it.
Have you ever had anything come out that just absolutely surprised you? Were like, wow, that was in there.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. And those are kind of those moments. It's like, oh wow. Yeah. I mean, those are great moments. They're kind of moments of discovery, which is really interesting. I have had that happen, and it's fun. And I can't recreate those moments intentionally. They just happen on their own, which is really neat.
Oh man, yeah, that would have to be pretty wild to, be you and feel that come out, see that come out, and just, I mean, is it kind of like another person in a way, or?
Yeah, I guess you could say that. It feels like it's definitely like, yeah, another person, another side. I think all of us have a lot of emotions in us that we don't tap into every day, and some of the stuff we bottle down. So sometimes as an actor, you're allowed to just free that up and let it out. And some of these things we don't know where they come from. It could be something that happened to us in our childhood, or who knows, but it's all in there. And that's kind of like my creative palette, so to speak. So when I'm working, it's like, okay, kind of those things are good. Like, you got to hold on to your pain sometimes, and then when it's time, you let it out. It's like it's a different paint color on your palette. So it kind of can serve a purpose, and it is therapeutic because you let a lot of stuff out, which is good.
But is it like when it's gone, like you just can't recapture that again?
Yeah, I mean, it depends. Like, I think, yeah, you can recapture, but no two performances are ever the same. Like, once you have it, like, there's some things that you just can't recreate once they're out. Like, yeah, you're like, I hope you guys are rolling, because I can try to do that again, but something was there that was just magical, and I don't know where that came from, but yeah, it's very mysterious. It is. I mean, but it's important to be in touch with your emotions too as an actor, and understand, try to understand, like, when to bring them out and when to allow the safety of bringing them out. So it's a balancing act, but it's definitely like therapy. It's like free therapy, or therapy you get paid for, I should say.
Wow, heck yeah. So, when it comes time to, like, shut those emotions off, or to, transition, you're headed home now, it's been a long day on the set. Is it difficult to switch that character off after you finish filming?
Um, sometimes it's like, yeah, it's, you feel emotionally drained, after some things, especially when I go home, I'm just completely like, okay, I'm spent. But it kind of is a relief in a way too. It's like getting those things out in a healthy way, in a safe environment, which is, set as a safe environment. Nobody's getting hurt. Nobody's, nothing bad is going to happen. We all know we're here to do a job. So I think in a way, it's like, for me, I feel spent, but I feel like it's a good thing. It's like, okay, I feel like I exercised some demon or something in me. I don't know. Something's gone, which is good. So
Yeah.
yeah, it always feels good in a strange way.
Wow. So it's just like, do you just like come home and crash after something like that? Kind of like after an intense workout, you've went and played tennis for 3 hours or something, and it's
Yes, yeah. I definitely, you have a good meal, and then, yeah, take a bath or crash, or listen to some music and just let it go. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It's like after a good workout, pretty much. Yeah.
wow. Okay. Yeah. So just mentally exhausting. I'm sure sometimes physically exhausting, especially once those emotional states rise. And
Definitely. Oh, it can be. It can be, but both, depending on the role. I mean, some roles are much more physical, and some are definitely more mental. But all of it is, it's just like a good feeling, even if you're tired. It's. I think other actors can relate, and also I gather from the energy of the other actors too. Like, we gather off each other, and we kind of create something else. So if you're working with really talented people, it's like, oh my God, it's a dream come true. It kind of like, it just happens magically, or it happens organically, and it's a beautiful thing.
wow, sort of like some psychic vampirism going on there.
Yeah, maybe that too, in a way. Yeah, for sure. But nobody's getting hurt, so it's like it's a healthy playground. It's kind of like a sandbox where everybody just can go in, and just let it all out. And we're all here like supporting each other, and we know this, so it's kind of cool.
Have you ever had anyone walk on set and, like, even if you didn't see him come on set, it's like you could feel their energy just
Yes.
blanket the room? Who would that be?
Oh, well, I would say I would definitely give that for sure for Nick Cage. When I work with Nick, Nick is amazing, and he just has a presence about him that's very intense but calm. It's hard to explain. He's very professional, but he's got such an amazing presence, and I think he stands out to me, because as soon as he walks in a room, he's there. Just a beautiful presence.
Yeah, he's one of those that I would imagine that would be like a Matthew McConaughey, like they're one person, and then when it's work mode, it is just, I mean, off the rails.
Oh yeah, yeah, no holds barred. That's what I love about both of them. They're so unique in their own way that they've carved out a niche of their own. Just they've gone bonkers on screen, but they're so you can't take your eyes off of either of them. They're both really brilliant actors, and I think that's it's such a rare gift, to have that. I mean, there's good actors, and then there's that level of wow, kind of gonzo, like anything goes. Like you just don't know what to expect from any of these guys, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it is. It's like when you're watching a movie with them, it's like you just can't look away. It's like they have this draw to them that's just
Yeah,
undeniable.
absolutely. Yeah, this charisma that it's undefinable. I mean, they're their own thing, and you can't teach that. That's like you're either born with that or not. And to me, yeah, the both of them have this amazing charisma where it's unexpected. I think a lot of what they do on screen is very like improv. I think they improvise a lot. Because with an actor like that, you just kind of got to let them go, let them do their thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so do you like just feed off of that energy? Like all of a sudden you're on a whole other level too and you're ready to go?
Yes, yes. I think it's like when you work with actors on a higher level than you. Like I like to say, I always like to learn from people who have had more experience than me, and just bring this whole different game, because it raises my bar too. And absolutely, I think that is so true. I mean, you just because naturally you kind of rise to the occasion. So it's the best acting lesson you can have is working with somebody on that level, on that caliber, because they make you bring your A game for sure.
Yeah, that's interesting. I've seen interviews of Quentin Tarantino and he talks about, how he had to move out to LA, he had to get in that Hollywood scene. And he says that, it can be hard when you're a big fish in a small pond. And, it's like the 100-yard dash. It's like, well, you're creaming everybody in it. And he's
Yes.
like, it can be hard to join in with people that are much better than you. But when you do, you know, your time just improves. You're not beating them, but your time gets better. So,
That's right. Absolutely. No, I welcome it. I'm not really intimidated. I'm more like I study them, because I'm like I can learn learn from people that are, I think, masters of their craft. I think we're always learning. Like basically everybody in the creative field. There's no level where you go, okay, I know it all. I can just sit back, and because you're always challenged, and then especially when you work with people on that level, you're like, okay, you're always going to get better. You're always going to reach to strive to get better. So it's a beautiful thing.
yeah, absolutely. It's like, I've been reading a lot of biographies on musicians lately, from everything, everywhere from like Mozart to Slash.
Hmm.
One thing that all of these musicians had in common was how worldly they were. Mozart would just travel the world and learn different styles of music. And Slash, he could rock the blues. He could obviously play rock and roll. He can do some metal, anything. He just embraced his instrument and all he could do with it. And it just, I mean, you see where it took these people. They're unforgettable.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I think that is that's a key too, is not just sticking with one genre or one thing. It's like you said about Mozart traveling. And I mean, you always want to broaden your horizon and broaden your palette. And and I'm a musician too, so I know this. Like we do one genre of music, but that doesn't mean we don't appreciate and study other genres of music too. It's kind of a, yeah, there's so much to appreciate. There's so much out there, and there's always new stuff coming out. And I think it can only help you as a creative person, as an artist.
Yeah, it's odd because, for instance, I'm a big metalhead. You know,
Nice.
I'm not going to sit around and listen to jazz.
Right.
But, some of my favorite drummers, you find out, wait, they were jazz musicians first. And it's like, dude, these people are crazy.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, I learned that actually, I know a lot of metal musicians, and a lot of them do study some of that progressive and jazz and all this crazy stuff. And it's amazing to see what their influences are, because it's not normally what you'd expect, but that's what's kind of
Yeah.
cool, because they bring something different to one genre, because they have influences from another genre. So that's always interesting. I love that. That's actually cool.
Yeah, it's like they're taking stuff from different styles of music and then they create their own style and then they become an icon.
Exactly. And that's why they have longevity too, because they don't just do one thing. They can do more than one thing. There's more than meets the eye, which is really nice.
Yeah. So I gotta ask, what is the craziest thing you've seen on a set?
Oh gosh. Let's see. Craziest thing. I've seen stunt drivers crash cars when they're supposed to know what they're doing. I've seen pretty bad accidents with that. I've seen people have panic attacks. Yeah, nobody's gotten like physically hurt, luckily. So far, so good. Yeah, I've just seen things like that. Like, I think those are probably some of the worst things. Usually it's like people are pretty well behaved for the most part, from what I've seen. Like, everybody's happy to be there. But yeah, once in a while, crazy things can happen, and yeah, it's life. But yeah, I saw a stunt driver total a car when they were supposed to know what they're doing. that was
no.
yeah. It was kind of like, oh my God. But it happens, I guess. Like I said, luckily nobody was hurt. So that was probably the craziest thing I saw.
Oh man. Yeah, that had to be a pretty big bummer there. That's
Oh yeah. I don't think production was very happy with that one. No.
Yeah, let's steer clear of this guy, no pun intended.
Exactly.
But what is, let's say, a core memory from working on a film that you'll just take that away forever, cherish it?
I think for me, it's literally the closeness. Like, every time when I'm working on a film and I feel like all the actors are clicking, it's always the last day is like bittersweet. So I have these beautiful memories of we all know it's the last day, and it's kind of like a family that you made for a short period of time. But everybody gets a little emotional on the last day. So there's beautiful memories of that, of working with great people, and then it's like hugging everybody goodbye and everything. And so those memories I cherish, and also just, yeah, like working with really actors that I've always admired and respected, and having these beautiful moments of flow. Like, it's just I'll always cherish those memories too, because it's just like, it's so special, and it just doesn't happen in daily life. When you interact with people normally, you don't get those kind of moments. But yeah, those are my favorite memories. It's just these beautiful times, like when we all know we did our best, and at the end we kind of just like, everybody's very grateful for everybody else and all the work they put in and all the dedication and passion. And so those memories to me are always incredible.
Yeah. It's like you've all come together for this creative venture, and out of all of your hard work, you have just birthed this,
Yes.
beautiful piece of film, or sometimes music, or
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I think art is just it's a lot of what keeps us going. Like, as crazy as the industry can be for a lot of us. I mean, it's, like I said, it's not an easy road, but I think it's the creativity and the art that at the end of the day that we all that's what keeps us coming back. And that's what we are all addicted to, in a way, is knowing that we're making something special and unique and one of a kind. And once your job is done as an actor, you kind of go home, and then you kind of wait and see what the final result will be. And usually that's a few months to a couple of years down the road, but you did your best. And no, it's like a glow. It's like everybody's very on cloud nine, because we all we did our best. We know we did something special here. Like, whatever the outcome is, we know we did our best. So that's very cool.
Well, let me ask you this, because I know you're like a creative jack of all trades here. Which comes to you more naturally, we'll say, like working on a film or producing an album or writing songs?
It's different, because like when I'm working on music, a lot of times I work on my own. So I do a lot of production stuff on my own with Pro Tools and things like that. So that's a whole different thing, because I feel like I'm more introspective when I'm working on music, unless I'm collaborating with other musicians. But for me, yeah, they're same in that they're creative, but they tap into different sides of me. Because with film, it's always a group effort, and I'm just one part of the big machine. Like I'm just one, one piece of it. I mean, we all have an important piece of the machine from the cast to the crew. But with music, it's very personal, because I feel like I work on music alone a lot, and it's my own vision. It's whatever I want to put, in recording, or put through, versus, with a film, it's like you've got the writer and the director, and so many elements. So they're both fulfilling in different ways, which is good. But I think, yeah, for me, it's just like I feel fulfilled. I think I feel fulfilled in different ways. Although with music, it's hard to know when to let go of the process and know that a song is done. Because I think we tend to be very, well, I do at least, self-critical, and like, okay, it's not done yet, it's not good enough. With a film, you're like, you have deadlines, you've got to finish it. That's it. Like you got to make sure you do it at a certain time. With music, I mean, you can kind of like, unless you're under a deadline, you can be more free. And yeah, so it's sometimes it's easier when you have a deadline with a film. Like, you've got to finish it you've got this much shooting days, and then you've got to finish the post-production in a certain amount of time. So that can be good too, because it kind of keeps you on your toes.
Yeah, so it sounds like the music is like it's your canvas, it's your paint. You get to choose all the different colors and how you want to produce this work.
Yes.
But also it sounds like you have more eyes focused on you. So if like a song comes out that you're, self-critical about and everything, you're the one who has to take the rap for that. On a film, it's like, well, the caterer, he served beans one day that were bad, and I mean, this is kind of his fault actually. But
That's right. Yeah, no, that's why music can be a little scarier for me, because yeah, it's like if somebody doesn't like a song, it's a personal expression. I wrote the song, I performed it, I produced it, all of that. With a film, it's unless it's, of course, your baby, you wrote and directed it, whatever. It is a group effort. So yeah, I think it's a little less scary, although I want people to enjoy the films I do, of course. So it's like, whenever I'm working, I'm just like, yeah, we're doing this to give people, entertainment and pleasure, and an escape, and just have them enjoy it. And so for me, that's such a great thing when I hear that people enjoy, these films. Like, that means the world.
so have you played live music?
Oh yeah. Yep.
So
Yeah.
I have to
Mhm.
know, which is the better feeling? Because I'm sure that you've experienced both at this point then. Being up on stage and playing your music in front of an audience, or sitting in a theater and watching yourself on screen.
Ooh, I think I love performing live. I mean, that's just for me. I love performing live, because it's funny when sometimes I watch the movies back and you go back to screen. I think a lot of actors are like this. It's kind of funny watching yourself, because you're just like,
Yeah.
It's just, and you never know what's going to end up in the final cut. So it's like we're kind of gritting it. But I tend to with the performing live, it's just such an immediate thing, and music itself. An audience appreciating it at that moment. It's nothing. There's nothing like it, because you're really communicating with the audience in real time. And with a film, like, usually you did it, like, before, like a few months before, a year before, and so you're kind of removed from it by the time you see it usually. And then by the time everything's put together, it's interesting, because it's kind of like, okay, that was me then, and this is me now. So it feels like a different me in some ways. So it's kind of like I watch it back, and it feels disconnected, and it's also it's a character. So I feel like, yeah, I'm watching me, but I'm also watching a character too. So yeah, for me, music, I think performing live music is it's a beautiful thing. I mean, it's just, I love reaching people. I love the audience. I love making people happy, and just giving them an experience that they truly get something positive out of it.
Well, and I imagine, while you're performing live in front of an audience, you can feed off of that energy while producing your art. Whereas film, like you said, you're removed from it. All the behind the scenes happening. So you're like, oh my God, this is, Tommy dropped the microphone on some girl's head before this was shot. And,
Yeah, yeah. Actually, the story. I mean, they're funny stories. Yeah, we always think about that. That was the day, whatever. That those are funny stories because no, the audience does not see those moments, the silly moments of maybe somebody holding something up behind you or whatever, just to get the shot done, or the little cheats we have to do to make it work. So it is. It's like the set is its own world. And then what's on the screen is something completely different. And sometimes it's just like, oh my God, it's amazing what editing and post can do, because we're like, oh, when we shot that in a tiny little room, but look at this, it looks amazing, on the screen. So that's the cool thing about movie magic is, you can do a lot of things with movie magic.
oh, absolutely. That's when the Apple boxes come out and
Exactly. Yeah.
you know. So are we ever going to get, I mean, now this could be the best of both worlds here. Are we ever going to get your music on a movie soundtrack?
Oh yeah, I mean, I've had my music on a couple of sound, like I had a song on a film I did in, I want to say 2018 with Dolph Lundgren and Sean Patrick Flannery called Acceleration. I have a song on the closing sequence of that, which is really cool. And I would love to do more scoring. I would definitely love to do more soundtrack stuff with the music for sure. Yeah, that's something that I want to do more in the future.
I bet that has to be difficult though, right? I mean, coming up with those legendary film scores we've heard over the years. I mean,
yes, absolutely. Oh, I know. There's so many talented, composers that work in film that it's incredible. I'm always in awe of some of their work, and I'm a huge fan of film soundtracks in general. So yeah, that's to me is so cool to have your song in a film. Just even at the end credits, it's just something cool about it.
right? Yeah, and sometimes, I mean, yeah, it's weird because sometimes they can make like a perfect end cap to a film. You just watch, for instance, the Saw series, which you're very familiar with. Those had some legendary soundtracks.
Yes.
And after you have watched this intense movie with this, the twist has just been unveiled, and then it cuts to credits and Mudvayne kicks on. You're like, oh my God, dude.
Absolutely. Yeah. It makes it so impactful. I mean, music and film have gone together like this forever. I think without great music, the film would not even be close to, as impactful as it is. That's why I'm such a fan of scoring, because I think, yeah, people I think they underrate how important it is to have a great soundtrack and great scores in a film. Like some of our favorite films probably wouldn't be the same without the score or the soundtrack, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely not. Absolutely not. John Carpenter, legend for that. Scores his own films. I mean, you get the best of both worlds with him. But, so many horror movies, is like the themes for some of the horror movies, especially from the 80s, were just as iconic.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm a huge fan of 80s horror themes. I think there's so many great, I mean, just Nightmare on Elm Street, like Hellraiser. I mean, there's so many great theme songs to these. As soon as you hear the first couple bars, you're like, I know the film. That's amazing. And 40 years later, we're still like, oh my God, they're timeless. They're amazing. I think that's what makes me love the 80s horror, the horror films so much. I mean, because there's so many great soundtracks from that time.
Yeah, and they weren't afraid to contact artists. The Ramones did the song Pet Cemetery for Pet Cemetery, Alice Cooper for Friday the 13th Part 6.
Yes.
And Dokken for Dream Warriors, even.
I love it. I love that. It's a perfect choice. Perfect choice.
Right?
It. Yeah.
Yeah, so they put some real care into the music,
Yes. Yeah, I wish we'd go back to that more. I feel like we need to.
I know, it felt like something special, like it was just all encompassing,
Totally. Yeah, we've kind of like, I don't know, it's like there's a lot of great scores now, but there's something that was just different at that time. Like I don't know, they were more like risk taking, you know what I mean? Things were a little bit more edgy and not so like, especially with the studio stuff, it's very safe. But like, yeah, horror, I mean, horror, 80s horror, like I grew up on that. So I love that so much. Like to me, that's, yeah, such a great era. Everything.
Yeah, and yeah, I think it's like you said, you know, they're a little bit too concerned now with maybe like how they will look, because if you watch some of those music videos, you know, Alice Cooper got to play around with Jason Voorhees himself a little, as did, you know, Freddy's waking up at the end of that Dawkins video, clutching a teddy bear. Like, oh my God, who were those guys? You know, it's like,
I love that. I really wish we go back to that, or somebody's got to bring that back. I mean, I think they did that a little bit with Terrifier 3, where they had Ice Kills 9, and that video was just,
yeah.
oh my God, that was a brilliant video. That was such a good, the art of dying, right? Yeah, art of dying.
A work of art.
A work of art. That's it. Oh my God, that video was incredible. I was blown away because they made art in the video. I was like, oh, this is brilliant. He kills everybody. I was like, this is so cool. So I love seeing that as kind of having a little bit of resurgence. I think that Terrifier has brought that back for sure. Like they
absolutely
the 80s. I'm a huge fan of that franchise so far. I love it. I love what he's doing with it.
Yeah, it's weird because, you know, slashers for a long time almost had to, you know, new age slashers anyway, almost had to like make fun of themselves. They had to be meta or, you know, something like that. And it's like Art is his own person doing his own thing.
Oh yeah.
You know, and
yeah,
I mean,
character like that since Freddy. I mean, we really haven't. He's kind of like, there haven't been in horror. There hasn't been any characters that where it's like all you have to say is Art. You're like, oh yeah, I know that. You know, like Jason, Freddy. You know, we haven't had anybody in so long in horror. Like the 90s, kind of like we went away from that. You know, and even in the 2000s, like now I love to see that, bring an iconic character that's just like one name character, and you like, I get it. That's it. It's a brand. So cool.
Yeah, it's I remember reading posts on Facebooks from mothers who were like, can somebody please explain to me who Art the Clown is, because my son is obsessed with him, but he's never even seen any of the films.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, because he's iconic now. Literally. I mean, it's brilliant. I think Damien Leone is a big fan of the 80s too. You can tell.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's like yeah, it's kind of like a when they had like a Freddy Mania.
Yes.
In the 80s, you know, like when Freddy was on MTV.
Oh my God, I know. I love that. And Robert Englund, brilliant actor. I mean, brilliant actor. But I mean, it's like, I can't imagine. I mean, I know they had other Freddys, but he was the role. Just just like David Howard Thornton is Art, and I can't imagine anybody else doing Art at this point. I mean, physicality, everything is such a fun thing to watch. I mean, for any of us who grew up with slashes, this is like, to me, it's a beautiful thing seeing practical effects come back, seeing, you know, like a slasher that's not, like you said, meta. You know, it's very much just, it is what it is. And I'm so excited to see that. And the first one was made for like nothing, you know, the first of the, now the budget's gone up, but that just shows you it's not always about having a huge budget. It's about having a great concept and giving the fans what they want. I think that's the thing that Damien understands, is giving horror fans what they really want.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, if I'm not mistaken, that was the most financially successful horror entry in 2024.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I don't even think they expected the success of it. So it's pretty incredible. You know, just this little movie that came from an anthology, you know, basically like the character came from the anthology, and nobody expected it to blow up like this. But it's kind of cool to see, because it shows like it doesn't have to come from a big studio. You know, it doesn't have to come from, you know, a multi-million budget with big names. It's just this cool idea and giving fans what they want. And that's, at the end of the day, that's what it's about.
That's it. Those are the people who are going to sit in the theater and watch your movie, you know?
Absolutely. So like, I'm always a proponent to giving fans what they want, because I think too many times people forget about the fans, and the fans are what make it. You got to give people what they want. You know, they're going to support, like I said, horror fans are the best fans ever. They'll support you to the end of the earth. You know, they'll come to the cons, they'll support, they'll go see the film. So they're just so loyal and amazing fans, and they know their stuff, you know, like that. That's the beauty. They know their stuff. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I think a prime example of that is if you've checked out the new Halloween trilogy from Blumhouse, David Gordon Green, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
No, the first one, wildly successful. The second one, you have Michael Myers. The third one, they remove him from the film. And dude, we saw what happened with Halloween 3 when you did that. I mean, that is notoriously the worst film in the franchise. I mean, according to the audience.
Yeah, no,
I personally liked it, but didn't need to be a Halloween film. If it would have went title.
No, I think that was the mistake. Is they didn't, not enough Michael. You know, there was barely any Michael in it, and I understand he was trying to do something creative, you know, with the storyline, but at the same time, when people go to see Halloween, they're going to see Michael. That's why the fans go.
That's it. That's
Absolutely.
it.
Yeah, no, I think that the smart directors and producers know this, that you have to give people what they want. Give them what they want. Don't break it. No, sorry. Don't fix it if it ain't broken. That's right. That's that old saying. It's the truth. Yeah.
Or, I always like to say, lead with what brought you to the dance.
Exactly. Yeah. No, that's and it's really not that complicated. You know, like it's fans love that they love, and they let them know what they love. Fans are very especially now with like internet and everything and the forums and people, it's not hard to know what fans want, because people are very opinionated and they'll share it, and they have great ideas. I mean, I read some of these people have such great ideas, so I think it's a beautiful thing to listen to your people and your fans, and just make sure that they're getting what they need.
Absolutely. Well, let me ask you this: what is the scariest moment you've ever had on a film set? Now, it might be that car crash.
Gosh. Well, yeah, I think, okay. Probably back when I was doing a movie for Sci-Fi Channel, that I had to do these crazy stunts, and they didn't end up using the shot, which is such a shame, but they had me stand up and they poured buckets of blood on me. Like, it kept coming, and I couldn't even breathe. I mean, it was so much blood. I didn't even know when it was going to end. So I was just like, am I going to literally drown in blood? But it's a heck of an experience having blood, like buckets of blood pouring on you. So I mean, it was scary. It was kind of like unnerving, but that was intense, definitely. So yeah, now I kind of know what it's like to bathe in blood, so to speak. Not real blood, but film blood.
I was gonna say, man, we got Elizabeth Botchery reborn over here, man.
It's like getting waterboarded, kind of. I can imagine a similar idea, but with the sticky corn syrupy blood. It's I don't recommend it, but anything for the shot. Like, if it looks good, we're gonna do it. We sacrifice, so it's all good.
Oh my goodness! Did it turn your skin red for a while?
It did. It took many showers, and yeah. I was like a hue of pink. My hair, everything. It was interesting. Yeah, and they didn't end up using the shot, which was even the best part of it. I was like, I would have loved to see the shot, because it was pretty cool.
Oh my goodness. All right. Now I have some, because we only have about 17 more minutes with you. So I do have some fun questions I'd like to go over with you here. So what is your favorite scary movie?
Oh gosh, I understand. It sounds so many. Okay, I'll go back to when I was a kid. The first film that's like scared me, besides Freddy, was, and my dad, like I said, had a video store. When I was really little, I watched Phantasm, and that scared me. And I still love that movie so much to this day, because it's very spooky, and there's some magic that was captured. And the tall man always scared me. He was so brilliant. He was such a brilliant actor, and that movie scared me when I was a kid. So like, I still have that little, yeah. I mean, I love it now. I can watch as an adult, but I think that was like the first movie that like legitimately scared me.
Yeah, and when, you talk about films with great soundtracks, that is another iconic theme.
Oh, I love that theme. That's one of my favorite themes. It's such a great theme. Like it gives me chills every time I hear it. I love that theme. But
Mhm.
yeah, all the visuals in that film. There's something so offsetting about that film, which is it's so creepy. Like captures the creepiness to it, but it's so stylish. I love that movie. I can't say that enough. It's great.
Yeah, it's like it comes through the screen and grabs a hold of you. It's almost like you can smell. I mean, we've all been in a mausoleum or at a funeral, and it's like you can smell the flowers and just the ugh.
Yeah, yeah. To me, that's always scarier to me than like, slashers are fun to me. I mean, they're not, but like it's the mental stuff. Yeah, the stuff that kind of keeps you up at night. Like and the whole like they can get you in your dreams and they can get you in reality. Kind of that trips me out. The whole interdimensional thing. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's a little because it messes with your mind. You're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, very surreal. It's yeah.
Yes, yes, yeah. I always love those kind of films, especially with psychological horror and things that it just sticks in your mind for days afterwards. You're like, huh, that's wow, you know, it's
Yeah.
things that keep you up at night.
Right?
Hmm.
Yeah. Now, if you could be in any horror movie from any time, what would it be?
Ooh, gosh, from any time. I mean, Ugh, I would love to be the original final girl like Jamie Lee Curtis. I think that's the coolest thing she's such a warrior. Like all these decades, she's still kicking Michael's ass, she's still fighting. I think that is every actress's dream job to be she's the ultimate final girl. I mean, that's just the coolest. We've had many final girls, of course, but Laurie Strode was the first final girl as far as, aside from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, of course, which was brilliant too. But yeah, I think I would love to be the original final girl. I think that would be so cool if I could go back in time.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
That would be, and to work with John Carpenter.
Oh, yeah.
Like he's the maestro. I mean, I grew up watching his movies. I love that man and what he does. Everything he does, incredible. And I mean, I even love some of his more obscure films like Mouth of Madness. Like
Mhm.
I just watched that film again the other day, and it's such a brilliant film. I mean, again, psychological, like woo, a
Yeah.
lot of people don't know about that film, but it's just like he is just he's one of a kind director. Just to work with someone like that is just my God.
Yeah, he's not afraid to take his art in different directions, and yeah, and I mean, he gives you so much stuff that is just unforgettable. It's iconic, whether it's his music or his movie. I mean, do you read Sutter Kane? It's like,
Yes.
wow, dude, like,
Absolutely. Oh man, no, he's a rock star. I mean, literally, he's a rock. Like we just don't have many directors like that. Like he is such an anomaly, to do the music and like the whole concept. He's an auteur, and it's such a rare breed now. I love that he's very punk rock about everything he's done, and that's so inspirational, so cool.
yeah, and speaking of Jamie Lee Curtis, Laurie
Mhm.
Strode, when they were making Halloween, apparently Carpenter, and you got to remember this is one of his first films. So who would even think of this? But apparently he made a scareometer, and he would use it to show Jamie Lee like, okay, this is how scared you should be in this scene.
Oh my God, that's great. That's brilliant. Oh my
Right?
God, that's so cool. I never heard that, but that's amazing. That is amazing. Well, I mean, he knows he gets. I mean, every film he's done. I mean, just like Christine. I mean, like all even all the Kurt Russell. I mean, like Escape from LA. I just love all of this work. It's just incredible, incredible. And yeah, approaching it differently. I think that is such a gift. That's why he's had the career he's had, the longevity, and he's iconic.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. He knew what it took to pull great performances out of his actors and actresses, and you
Yeah.
know.
Absolutely.
So, what is one question that you've always wanted to be asked but never have?
Oh my goodness. Let's see. That's a good question. That's a good question in itself. One question I wanted to be asked but never have. Let's see. I guess where do I see film, and where do I see myself going as our industry is changing? I think that's it. That's a good one. Personally, I'm happy. Okay, but I'll answer it this way. I'm happy to see that more female directors are doing horror, and I want to be part of that. You know, seeing more women having their voices in horror as producers and directors and whatnot. And so for me, it's exciting to be part of this new wave of talent that's coming in. Even like The Substance, you know, like you can tell, like influenced by Cronenberg, who another amazing director that I grew up watching. To see more females getting voices in horror. So I guess that's a cool question for me, because I want to see myself as part of this continuing wave that we still hold up and champion the past of all these greats, like I was talking about Carpenter and Cronenberg, but yet seeing more women have a voice too in this, you know, not just being on the screen, but behind the scenes. So yeah, I see myself as part of this, I guess, new movement in Hollywood that's happening, you know, where it's not just about women, but women and men working together and telling all kinds of different, and bringing new characters in there and just telling all different voices, I think. So that's kind of the new wave of Hollywood that I want to kind of ride, and independent film too, especially, and be part of that. Because I think indies are making a huge comeback now. I think it's kind of cool to see, you know, all these unexpected hits that we're having, where studios are churning out one thing, but we're seeing a lot of people coming out of left field and dark horses that you would never expect, showing these incredible films, you know. Like last year was, or 2 years ago, Talk to Me. That was a great film. I mean, I think, and that came out of left field, you know. So it's kind of neat to see that, and I hope to be part of that and continue to be part of that. So that's something I'm really championing, and also like finding new talent and new young directors, and you know, helping them make their visions happen. That people that we can give an homage to the past, but yet we have we're expanding it and bringing a new vision. So that to me is really exciting.
Yeah, that's great that you say that, because actually next week I'm going to have Brandy Roderick on.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah, she just, you know, directed her own film. She sent me a copy, you know, checked it out. You know, I am surprised at how dirty she was willing to get her hands on that one.
Absolutely. That's cool. I've met Brandy before. She's friends with another friend of mine. We met years ago. Very nice lady. And I think it's great to see that. Like, I love that. I love that we can all support each other, and you know, like it's exciting. You know, we're not just one thing. We all have a voice, and we all have visions, and we're all here to make, you know, great art and great cinema. I mean, it's really about continuing the legacy of great horror cinema and great cinema in general. But with horror, especially, horror is such a, you know, an interesting, colorful history. And we just have to keep expanding it and bringing new ideas and new talents to the forefront. So I love that. I love women supporting women. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say, you know, I'm glad that you've, you know, met her before, talked with her and stuff. Because if not, I was going to be like, we got to get you two together.
Oh yeah, no, I'd love to sit down with her and talk some more about it. I think that's, congratulations to her for that. That's fantastic. I mean, I directed a short film last year, and now I'm ready to get my feet wet and directing more, because I really enjoy it. And I love producing too. It's really fun to put all the pieces together. I have a couple films coming out now that I've produced, and one of them is very exciting. I'm very excited about it. It's an homage to the most classic George Romero, Night of Living Dead.
Yes.
Yeah, we did a remake honoring the original, but with a modern twist. And our lead actress is Vivica Fox, so it's a female lead. And but we have amazing actors in it, like Dee Wallace, and we have Bobby Carradine. I mean, we have a really, really cool cast. And so I'm excited about that one. That one's going to be coming out really soon. And I think the zombie fans, zombie movie fans, and the Romero fans, I think they'll really enjoy it.
Absolutely. I'm going to have to get my hands on a copy of that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Preferably an autographed one, you know.
Yeah, I think we could work on something for that. Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah. So, do you have a preference between being in front of the camera or behind it?
You know, I always love acting. I mean, that was my first thing I ever started doing. So I'll always love that. But it's interesting now because I'm enjoying being behind the camera too. I mean, I always love to act, so I can't say I don't. But yeah, I'm kind of enjoying the producing or production process and putting something together. It's a different. It's more stressful in many ways because you're not just a hired talent. You have a lot of moving parts. But it's also very fulfilling when I can put something or help put something together and see its fruition. Like for instance, with this film we have coming up, from the beginning to now, we're in post and we're pretty much almost there. We've got, you know, just a few more weeks of post left, and then seeing the product and like being like, oh my God, this went from, you know, a script to now to now we have a film, we have a real movie. That is really rewarding too. So it's like, yeah, acting, I mean, I'll never not love acting for sure, but I definitely feel really it's very fulfilling to see this thing. It's going to be a film and it's going to be done, and it's, you know, like it's going to be part of the horror, you know, the horror world, and just that to me is so cool, like to be part of that. So I want to continue to do that for sure. But I'll never quit acting. I think I love acting too much.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait to see what you come up with. I am excited, you know, and I know my fiance's in here right now. I know she's very excited because one, you know, she's not as big of a horror fan as I am.
Yeah.
But she is a fellow writer.
Oh, good.
And one problem she does have is that she can tell in a lot of these horror films that men wrote the dialogue for the women, and it bothers her to no end sometimes. You know?
I get it. I get it for sure. Yes. Yeah. No, that's pretty funny, but that makes sense. That's why I'm saying it's kind of cool to see more women writing and getting into, and it's okay for women to like horror. It's okay. Like, you know, back when I was a kid, like not many girls like, oh no, girls don't really watch horror movies. You watch rom-coms and everything. And I love rom-coms once in a while, but like I always gravitated to horror. And it's kind of cool that now we're in a time where it's okay. You know, women can, you know, we can express our dark side, and we can write for other women, which I think is really, really, like your girlfriend's right. She's absolutely right. Like we need more like realistic dialogue for women, I think, for sure. Yeah, because for many years it was, yeah, definitely written by men. I can totally see that.
Yeah. Yeah. She'll tell me all the time. She's like, there is no way this woman is walking alone to her car right now. There's no way with this guy staring at her across from the street that she's just going to stand there and still be. She's like, no way, no way.
Exactly. No, that's true. That's right. We read our characters a little more realistic and intelligent now. In this day and age, we have to. Otherwise, it's going to become a trope, you know, like these silly tropes that we're like, oh no, you know, don't go in the room, look behind the door, that kind of stuff. So now I think I'm hoping, but I think more writers are more aware of that we have to make it a little bit more believable.
Yeah. Yeah. It's wild. You know, it's like you watch some of these movies and it's like, oh my God, my new 2023 Subaru Forester won't start for some reason. It's like, what? Come on,
exactly.
dude.
Or the running and tripping and then dropping the keys and fumbling with the keys.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many of those tropes, and we gotta love those tropes because they're pretty funny. Because like we all grew up with movies like that. Oh my goodness, you know. So now I think it's fun to play with those tropes and, you know, make it realistic. That's what I'm seeing more now with horror. They're making a little bit more realistic, which is,
yeah.
I think that's important for sure.
So I'm gonna throw these at you fastball, just these fun ones, so we can, you know, because I put some time into these. I thought they'd be a little fun for the audience. Now, would you rather, John?
Yes.
Be caught in the reverse bear trap by Jigsaw? And I know you've been in one of the Saw films.
Yes.
So you know the devastating effects of that. Or the next time you go on an audition for an acting role, suddenly you talk in my voice, accent, tone, everything.
I think that would be awesome. I might get the part right there. They'd be like, I don't know what you just channeled, but that's great. I love it.
Well, I pray to God your next role is for something like Tucker and Dale versus Evil Part 2 or something. Then
I love it. I love it. It would throw him for a loop, which would be great. That's
Okay. Top of your head. What's one horror movie you'd absolutely have no chance of surviving?
Top of my head. Okay. Oh my gosh. Well, I personally wouldn't have a chance of surviving, or
Yeah.
ooh, that's a tough one. I think Cabin in the Woods is pretty hard to survive because
Ooh.
everybody's kind of screwed at the end. You know, you got to please the old gods. You know, so they have to have a bloodletting, and if you're not willing to give it up, I think we're all at the end. We're all in trouble. So that one I think is pretty hard to survive because they don't realize they're actually in a simulation. So
Yeah.
that's a tough one. That's
So
probably the
when
hardest one.
so at the end when Sigourney Weaver came in and she was like, "Look, you're going to be a sacrifice, okay? Like, would you just give it up, or would you be like, no way?"
Well, I think our human instinct is to fight to the end, and that's kind of what they did. Like, no way, screw you, I'm not going to give it up. But then at the end, the big hand comes down, and we're all done for, because the old gods are coming back. So that's a tough one because I'm a fighter, so I'm going to fight back. But I don't think they believed her that the old god was coming back. I think that they just thought, oh, you're just a psychopath. But no, that was,
Wow, there's
that was real.
devastating consequences to these actions, guys. Like,
Absolutely. That's why I love that movie so much. So it was so out of the box. I mean, they did the horror tropes, which was great, but it had such a humor to it too. It was very like tongue in cheek, and it kind of was. It was like making fun of horror, but also giving a homage to horror, which that's what I loved about that film. It was so out of the box.
Yeah, they took it and made it its own horror film while also utilizing these horror tropes and, pointing fun at those. But, okay, what is one horror movie you think you could absolutely survive? You've got this.
Oh, okay. I think I would do pretty good with Jason.
Oh, dang.
Pretty good with Jason. I mean, he's he's pretty slow, but like, just don't go camping. Just don't, you know what I mean? And don't have sex. Don't have sex. Especially sex in the shower. Don't do that. So there's certain rules you have to follow. And then Jason will pretty much leave you alone. Yeah.
Yeah, that is, I mean, come on. Pro tip right there. Pro tip.
That's
out
right.
of the woods.
Rules.
All right. Now, thank you for playing along with that. Now, I got to ask you before we do let you go, are you working on any projects right now in addition to the Night of the Living Dead?
Yes.
Or do you have anything else exciting coming up?
Yes, I do. I have another horror film coming out that they're finishing up called Return to Fear, which is very cool. Speaking of old gods, this kind of has something to do with that, which is really interesting. And I do a nice little cameo in that one, so I'm very excited. And then I have a sci-fi movie called Andromeda Wars, which is being finished up right now, which I'm pretty unrecognizable in because I'm playing an alien commander, but it's kind of cool. It's kind of any of the Star Trek fans would like it. I think it's got a kind of a Mandalorian Star Trek vibe. And then I have some more that we're supposed to be shooting this year. One including a very cool time period piece, also to do with zombies. So I can't say too much, but as soon as we start shooting, I'm going to be announcing it.
Oh, a period piece with zombies.
Yes, and not the expected period piece. Like,
oh, okay. Because my mind immediately went to Western.
Oh, that would be cool. Yeah, not Western. Even further back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay. Okay. Yeah. You've got me intrigued here.
Yep. It should be very cool. I'm very excited about the project. Yeah.
Awesome. I'm very excited to see what you come up with and what the future has in store for you. I want to listen to your music. How do I do that?
Yes, absolutely. I'm on Spotify and on iTunes under Auradrone. It's Auradrone. And that's my music project as of right now. You can hear, there's actually some videos on YouTube as well, so you can type it in and check out some of the cool videos. We've had some actually really cool people in my videos, including Brian Krause, who's done a lot of horror films as well, and Robert Lizardo, who's also a horror alumni. So if you can go to YouTube and check it out. But I'm working on new music as we speak too. So.
Wow. Any projected release date for that?
Not yet. I'm hoping to have some more singles out by probably the end of the year, I think. Should be.
Nice. Now, if the HorrorFam wants to keep up to date with that, where can they find you?
Oh, you can find me on Instagram. It's me underscore John Marie. Or you can find me on Facebook under my page. I think it's official Jon Mack. And on Twitter under Oradrone. So if they want to say hi, I'd love to say hi to anybody and hear your feedback. And I love hearing from fans always.
You hear that, horror fam? Go follow this woman and ask her all the questions you want to ask and give her some feedback. Come on.
Yeah, I love feedback. I love talking to my horror community. Best fans ever.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Jon, for being on here with us today, talking some horror. I really appreciate that. I'd love to get you back in the future. This has been so fun.
Oh, same here. I had a great time. Thank you. And I would love to come back. You're such a lovely host. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, maybe post Night of the Living Dead or that westerns or the period piece zombies. Oh.
Yeah. That would be great. I would love to.
All right, let's make that happen. Well, I appreciate it. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you. You too. Thank you so much. And we'll definitely keep in touch.
All righty. Take care of yourself.
You too. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, horror fam. That was Jon Mack. Did you all enjoy that interview or what? Let me tell you something. Great guest right there. Absolutely loved having her on. That went so well, in my opinion. Absolutely lovely human being. And I'm really, I mean, this isn't just hyperbole. I'm really excited for some of her upcoming projects here. I mean, that period piece zombie flick, you count me in, buddy. And I'll tell you what, I don't know what period she's talking about. You know, I don't know if we're talking knights in armor, but hey, find the role for me. Put me in there. Let me don the sword. You know what I'm saying? Let me don the shield, rock the sword. I think I could take on some zombies. What y'all think, horror fam? Oh, Matty Man's in here. What's going on, Matty Man? Did you enjoy the interview, brother? Thank you, Little Crypt Monster. Little Crypt Monster, I see you in here, and this is my first time seeing you in here, so I'd like to say welcome to the Horror Fam. You can never grow old. You can never die. You are now one of us. Welcome home, brother. Stephen Chang, I would also like to thank you for introducing me to Jon Mack and all your help getting in contact with her. Had a lot of fun today, brother. I really appreciate what you've done here. Yeah, Deuce Bigelow. She was one of Antoine's female friends. Yes. Yeah. I'm glad you liked it, Maddie Man. I'm glad you liked it. We're going to get Maddie Man on here at some point. It's going to be absolutely incredible. Maddie Man's going to come on here and deliver his infamous line, Garbage Day. It's going to happen, horror fam. It's going to happen. Right. She is so lovely. She was a very wonderful guest. I mean, I wish, you know, unfortunately we were limited to only an hour and 10 minutes, give or take. You know what I'm saying? But I wish I could have talked with her endlessly. So much fun. That's why I'm like, hey, we got to get you back on here. This was too fun. Mm-hmm. Oh, Maddie, you are being so silly. Come on, Maddie. Come on. Yeah, I had a great stream tonight. Absolutely great stream. I really appreciate that, Chang. I look forward to seeing what you got next. DOD, Artsy, Briggsy, Third Eye. What did all of you all, Dragon Blues, what did everybody think of the show tonight? You know, this is a little bit different than what we usually do, but I really liked it. It's the return of the guests. I had a lot of fun. Man. And of course, this is going to show up, you know, because I am starting an audio only podcast in addition to these. And this, of course, is going to be an episode on that. Hey, you take care of yourself, Third Eye. Thank you so much for coming in. I don't think I've seen you in here before either. So hit that subscribe button and welcome to the Horror Fam. You can never grow old. You can never die. You are now one of us. Oh, Dragon Blues loves the guests. So do I. Such a fun night. And I mean, wow, how lovely. Just how lovely. I even put our little banners up for us so everybody would know who we were. There we go. We can tell everybody knows this is me. Come on, you're stuck with me now. Stuck with me now, horror fam. And we had a good turnout too. You know, we had like 44 people in here when, you know, when Jon was on. It was very fun. Stephen Chang saying this is a 10 out of 10 stream. 10 out of 10 stream. Thank you, Changster. Thank you, baby. Yeah. I'm trying, man. I'm trying to deliver the goods. Trying to deliver the goods, baby. See what we got here. DJin is saying that was 100 out of 10. Are there any questions? Are there any questions that you wish I would have asked? Or anything you wish I would have done differently? Oh, Artsy, are you talking about Charles Dubronx Oliveira over here? And yeah, I'm a UFC fan. You know, a huge fan. That's my favorite fighter right there, Charles Oliveira. Anna bought him for me for Christmas, and I was keeping him in the living room on the living room chair as if he was actually, you know, one of us living here. And Sammy likes to jump in the chair, and I was afraid he was going to mess up Charles with his claws. So thank you so much, the Changster, saving it or sharing it to the Facebook for me. I really appreciate that, brother. Ooh, who was her favorite coworker? Yeah, that would be cool. That would be cool. That would have been a good one. That really would have been a good one. I do like how she went off, you know, telling us how just great Nicolas Cage was to work with, you know, just comes in and just commanding presence. Just a commanding presence right there. He is the sweetest baby kitty. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think we've been getting some really strong weather, some really bad weather, and it really freaked him out, man. All the lightning and thunder. Who was her worst co-worker might be funnier. Oh man, dude. I can't wait until like I'm a guest on a podcast and I get asked some of these. I get to spill the dirt, man. Because you won't believe, you know, I've not worked on many film sets at all, for God's sakes. But I'll tell you what, man, one of my worst experiences, I think, takes the cake in a lot of situations. Dream Blues, I can't give him oh no. Let's see. You could ask her for her worst working experience and she doesn't have to name. Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah, that would have been interesting. Oh man. Yeah, that car wreck had to be bad. You know, I can only imagine the chewing out that poor stunt driver got for that man, but you know, sounds like he was being a little bit unsafe. So, you know, pretty wild. Diabolical Doctor. She was in more sci-fi movies than I expected. Yeah, Briggs. She was in Lavalantula, buddy. Lavalantula. And if you play your cards right, Briggs, I may do a reaction video to that movie. But only if you're nice, Briggs. Only if you're nice, buddy. I know how you get. Briggs demands a lot. Briggs is very demanding. All right. All right, my friends. I think that is going to be it for me tonight. That was very fun. Now, of course, we will have Trivia Monday. I'm going to go hang out in the Discord for a little bit, chat it up with everybody, see what everybody thinks. So if you're not in there, please join up in the Discord. I'll go ahead and drop that link in the chat right now. And come on in. Come on in and we'll chat it up. And we have another guest next week. We're going to have Brandy Roderick on here. She is most known for being one of the Baywatch babes. She was on Baywatch back in the 90s. She just released a new horror film, and we're going to talk about that on the show in addition to many other things. So come in that Discord and be like, Stevie, you know what? You really need to ask this question. You need to, come on, I need some guidance here. Y'all got to keep me in line. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, I'm liable to, fumble. So if you want to do that, the Discord is a great way to make that happen. I dropped the link in the chat. You are more than welcome to be in there. But all right, horror fam, I'm going to hop off here. Thank you all so much for being here with me tonight. I hope every single one of you had a great night. I hope you enjoyed the live stream. And our guest, Jon Mack, once again, thank you so much for coming on here and hanging out and talking some horror with me. Until next time, horror fam, look horror, listen horror, talk horror, my friends. I love every single one of you. You all have a very safe weekend. I may pop up with some Dead by Daylight. You never know about me, okay? You never know. We're getting a lot better as the killer, okay? Leatherface and Pinhead, they're a little bit thirsty, and we may have to satiate them. So keep your eyes open this weekend and follow me on the Twitch, twitch.tv/talkhorror. All right, my friends. Have a good night.